flip it, we did it off the line. Stay in the kitchen, I'm never off of mine. And now I'm Kemp in his prime.
Ladies and gentlemen, that voice that you hear on the song, that nigga is here today.
In the building.
I am here live and direct. I'm here.
That nigga is here. Pavy is here. We are here. Ball Don't Lie. Episode 179. I am fresh off the streets, the mean streets of Kansas City, Missouri. There was a point where I knew that I have not that I didn't always know. I've always been a proud big city elitist. But there was a point when me and my brother was driving through these many cornfields in Iowa on the way to Chicago or even the way to Kansas City. And I was like, you know what? I've seen enough cornfields to last me for an eternity. Get me back to California. I'm like, this is just too much. Like, it's just funny how, like, you have one of them feelings we think about, like, just how, like, this is probably like an old head, though, like technologies on airplanes. Like, when I got home yesterday, I was like, damn, nigga, this time yesterday, I was in the middle of a cornfield in Iowa. Now I'm here in West LA. Like, planes are crazy.
Planes are incredible. Planes are
incredible. So, but we're here, episode 179. Scott, Dante, Pav. You know to follow us on Twitter at Barbchair Scott, at October's on Tay, at Pavy World. If my screen looks a little clear right now, that's because I finally, in the year 2023, have a MacBook. Finally, I am done with PC life. It is finally a good time to be over. It's just, Macs, as great as they are, they rent payments. Yep. That's 100% what they are. They are rent payments. So we are here to talk about NBA basketball playoffs. The second round has officially begun. We're going to kind of recap a couple things from the end of the first round, get into a couple of these series that we got going on today. But you can follow the Barbers Chair Network at Barbers Chair Net on Twitter and Instagram. Follow the BC Net. Go visit thebcnet.com. Subscribe to the Patreon, patreon.com/Barbers Chair Network. Now, I do know we didn't post a couple things in a couple weeks, because of traveling last week. Me and Dante didn't do sending with the guys. We ain't had summer sessions in a couple weeks. I see a couple of you niggas unsubscribe. So, we're going to try to keep this as consistent as possible.
You went 1 week without content. It's hilarious.
Well, it's been 1 week with no content. We went 1 week with no content.
Hilarious.
So I've switched the payment situation. So now when you niggas subscribe, you will be charged right away. Yeah. You will not be getting me out of here with that. So as my brother likes to call me, Capitalist Scott.
That's crazy.
Scotty, my brother likes to call me.
Niggas really treat us like the weed man out here. We can't take days off.
We can't take days off.
You can't have a regular life, dog. It don't work like
I can't do the NFL draft or nothing like that. You know what I'm saying? Ain't like I just didn't want to give niggas content and shit. Like, niggas was actually working and shit, man. But also, man, shout out to everybody who pulled up to the Barbershop Network draft party. Dante, you were there. It looked amazing from the pictures and the videos I saw. Tell me how everything went down.
Hey, no, it was definitely a good time. Shout out to Haymarket. They were a great host as usual. And like we did last time, once the music get going, we had our crowd, but we were also able to pull people from the front. So we had a nice little group of people. Everybody enjoyed it. We did a toast to Jerry Springer. Shout out to J.R. Bang. Bro was on point hosting. It was a good time, bro. And like I said, I love it because we trying to put down our roots everywhere. Of course, obviously, we in 3-4 different cities right now, but having Haymarket as a home base is dope because, like I said, every time they show love, and it was the same thing on Thursday.
Yeah, definitely, man. It was, one thing I kind of wanted to see, like, who would pull up because I know me and my brother weren't going to be there, but everybody showed out, man. Showed out, had a nice amount of people there. Shout out to Haymarket, shout out to Mike, shout out to Jay, shout out Bourbon, man. I wish I knew his name, but every time I come to Haymarket, he's pouring me up with bourbon. So shout out to him. Bourbon man. He put, and look, next time you come up there, he gonna have like a whole, I don't even know. He be having different kinds of bourbon. He give you like free shots, all that shit. Bet. So shout out to Bourbon man, everybody out there, everybody pulled up. Isaiah, I know you cheated to win the Pillars raffle, but it's all good. Like, I was like, this when Tiff told me, I'm like, this nigga got Pillars on. Like we should do a recount. Like motherfucking George Bush nigga to do that. But shout out to Isaiah for winning that. I was at the draft. It was cool. You know what I'm saying? Kansas City is Kansas City. I want to thank the not to show anybody. I'm sure we got some Kansas City listeners out there. You know what I'm saying? But it's I feel like this. I said this a long time ago. I feel like there needs to be a trade between the East Coast and the Midwest.
Oh,
Chicago,
I've said many times,
Chicago,
no, we beat Boston.
Chicago
We
for
beat Boston,
Jersey,
bro. We
I
beat
don't give a
Boston.
damn what it is.
We beat Boston, bro. Chicago would not be Chicago if it's on the East Coast.
Jersey.
Yeah, no, them Irish folks would be wilding, bro. It'd be
Yeah,
cool.
no.
Chicago for Jersey. No trade protections. I think that should be the appropriate trade.
Nah.
Anybody make fun of Jersey any goddamn way. Add another great city to it.
Nah, Chicago is right where it needs to be, right in the Midwest, in the middle of the country. That's where it needs to be. It does not need to be on the East Coast.
That was the quickest Chicago trip I ever. I literally was in Chicago for maybe not even 10 hours, bro. Like I landed at like 1 a.m. on fucking Wednesday. I was gone by 2 p.m. And then the next day, I had a flight at like 4:30 in the morning on that Sunday. And then before you knew it, I was in fucking Inglewood getting picked up by a nigga who looked like he was one of the niggas who, used to rob Franklin on Snowfall. I could tell from the nigga's name, like, you know how you can just kind of guess how a nigga gonna talk before you get on, like, yeah, this nigga definitely finna be all right. You good, homie? And it was definitely one of them niggas. But shout out to everybody who fucked with everything we did NBA draft wise over the last couple of days. Pav, man, you got a new single out, man. Tell the people about that.
Yeah, I got a new single. Shout out, the OG Glass and Malone. Shout out to homie C Rich. It's called It's called Love It For Yourself. It's off my coming album, The Bachelor. I hope you enjoy it. It's something real cool, real smooth. You can ride around to it, play it. Yeah, man, I hope y'all enjoy it. And again, you can find it everywhere music can possibly be streamed.
Definitely, man. Check that out. Shout out to everybody who's been streaming Being Singles Complicated. We appreciate y'all for real. So shout out to y'all, man. Let's get into these NBA playoffs, man. It has been a very crazy first round that we've seen. This is, to me, is the close. Everybody wanted, parity in the NBA. It's the closest it's gonna get. To me, this kind of feels like an NBA March Madness type feel where I really don't know who the fuck's gonna win this whole thing. Like, we've got three. Okay, we're gonna get to that in a minute. We got three of the top seeds who were eliminated over this past week. Sacramento got eliminated, Memphis got eliminated. Now, granted, the Warriors and the Lakers aren't your typical 6 and 7 seeds, but we finna get into a team that need their ass beat for this shit. The fucking Milwaukee Bucks. The Milwaukee Bucks, who were not just the number one seed in the East, the number one seed in the entire league, lose to Jimmy Butler, who's apparently Michael Jordan, when the calendar hits mid-April every fucking year. And the Miami Heat, who are up 1-0 on the Knicks right now, on a crazy fucking run. They got eliminated. I understand Giannis was the first, 3 games of the series he missed?
Basically the first 2 games.
First 3 games of the series, but the way they lost that series, even without that nigga playing, he went up there, and we'll get into the little bullshit quotes he said in a minute. But I know neither one of us picked Miami, so what the fuck went wrong in y'all opinion?
I know, Pavy, you go ahead.
Okay. First, obviously, Giannis did miss 3 games. Like, he fell down at like the 8-minute mark in the first quarter. So he did genuinely miss 3 games. 2, I also think the Bucks kind of sort of underestimated Miami. But also with Miami, we have to realize Miami also isn't your normal number 8 seed. I mean, if you look at last year, they were in the conference finals. I think they had the best record in the conference last year. In the
East, the game 7 was at home. There was a Jimmy Butler mystery away from going to the finals.
Yeah, then also look at the people they have. I mean, like, I think I went through the roster. Like, they have 3 possible Hall of Famers on the roster. Like, they have Jimmy Butler.
Now, who's the third? I saw when you tweeted
Jimmy Butler, Kevin Love, and Kyle Lowry. Possible. I said possible.
Okay.
Possible Hall of Famers. You have Bam Adebayo, who was a Defensive Player of the Year candidate pretty much every year. So this is not like it's not like, sorry, you're playing the Bulls. Like, if they lost to the Bulls this way, that would have been what in the entire fuck is going on. Yeah. Also, we got to remember, like, the Heat are a team that historically gives the Bucks trouble. They give Giannis trouble. Like, even the bubble, when didn't they get swept or did they lose in 5 in the bubble?
I think they got
I want to say they got swept.
Yeah,
they got swept by the Heat. This is still largely the same team that did that. Like, it's not like this is, a team that just is, doesn't have talent. But I do think the way in which they lost, like, again, obviously, I think once they went down 3-1, I thought they would lose, but I thought they would lose in 6, not 5. I think the way they lost is more shocking than them losing. I mean, even if you look at, like, game 5, like, fucking the tap in Jimmy hit, okay, incredible shot, but there was 0.5 left. Bud doesn't call a timeout. Now, obviously, I know, but that's other things.
And we know the unfortunate situation with Bud's brother.
Bud's brother, whatever. Sorry about that, RIP. But you have 0.5 seconds left. You don't call a timeout. 0.5 seconds. You have Giannis, you have Brook Lopez. You think you can maybe get a lob to the rim, tap it in, you go home, you walk out with the victory. Then overtime. I don't know what the fuck happened in overtime. Then the last possession, you don't get a shot off,
bro.
And then, I mean, obviously, yes, Jimmy turned into Michael Jordan, but like, you couldn't do nothing. You couldn't double the man. You couldn't do nothing. You just gonna sit here and let him take everybody 1-on-1?
Yeah. No, I think that was one of the moments where, like, when people who used to try to say Giannis winning these Defensive Player of the Year awards is kind of funny and they like because he just played help side D. It's one of the moments where it's like, bro, if you that guy and Jimmy's cooking y'all ass, I need Giannis to call this shit off. Say, no, I'm finna guard Jimmy. Get me on Jimmy.
Jimmy walked up to Drew Holiday down. Said, I own you. They were losing continuously. When he said, I own you. What? They were, in game, what was it, 4? If you go back and look, he had 40 points with like 5 minutes left. He scored 15 points in 5 minutes. What the fuck? What is going on?
I think bro was like it was one sequence where he stole the ball, came down, hit a 3, got it back, hit another 3. Like he was going crazy. And like to your first point, because I do think as much as the Bucks still should have took care of business, I think the fact that you missed Giannis for essentially 3 games, that was just too much to overcome. And I think, this is one of those moments where when you look at the seed and it's automatically like, oh, it's a 1-8. This ain't we shouldn't be doing that. But like you said, now Jimmy and Scott ain't never heard me say this, so I'm gonna finally say it, bro. Like Jimmy is one of them ones. Like when it comes down to like a player I would take Jimmy Butler over a lot of people because this is what you need right here in the biggest moments. What you gonna do for me?
I wanted to say this about my man Jimbo Buckets, who I affectionately call my firstborn son because I've been a fan of this nigga since he had the bullshit haircut, and all we knew was that he's from Tomball, Texas, and the nigga likes motherfucking watching motherfucking Taylor Swift and listen to Taylor Swift and shit. I'm a big fan, and I want to take a victory lap because I remember having many debates in Bulls Twitter. Right when D Rose got either year before D Rose got traded, after D Rose got traded, and there was so many Jimmy can't do this, Jimmy can't do that. Hey man, the proof is in the pudding now. The proof is in the pudding for my guy. You know what I'm saying? He done been to an NBA final. He was a shot away from making the NBA finals. He is an actual clutch player. Now I didn't see this nigga being this. I'm not gonna sit up here and lie about that. This is some other shit that Jimmy's like. Jimmy would just like go through the regular season. Get his little cool all-star appearance. He go in there, drop about 8 points if he plays at all, because a lot of times he's hurt. And then the fucking playoffs come, and this nigga's a different level. You know what I'm saying? It's a different level of way he's come so far from getting into it. Go ahead.
Bro, so I'm looking at Jimmy Butler's stats. Can I read to you his stats?
Yes, go ahead.
He shot 59% from the field. 59% from the field. He shot 44% from 3 in 37 minutes and averaged 37.6, 6 boards, 4 assists, and 2 steals. What the fuck? What are we doing?
It's just like it's now of course that shoot. I think what's impressive about it is the shooting percentage. Like you just named, like we know that's not gonna, continue, but like when is it gonna stop? Like, cause this been going on for about 3 weeks now. Like, what I'm saying? The Knicks might be lucky that he fucked his ankle up. But knowing Jimmy just gonna find some other way to beat them. You know what I'm saying? And to me, it's just something where he's worth every dollar that he'd have paid him. Yeah. He's worth every dollar. Like did you know that he scored the most points compared to any other? Like Dwayne Wade ain't put up the amount of points he put up. LeBron James ain't put up the most points he put up in the playoffs. That is ridiculous because he have a tradition.
In 2 games.
Right. That don't make no fucking sense. It don't make any fucking sense.
Yeah, like I said, shout out to Jimmy, man, and we're not gonna mention these fucking losers because I told you how I feel about any Jerry Reinsdorf own team, but this man took like 4 different teams to the playoffs since we traded him, bro. Like the shit is jokes.
And Dante, like, don't look at Jerry Reinsdorf quotes from that little conference he was at in LA this week. He's gonna piss you off. I really had like fucked up thoughts I don't even want to say on air because God don't like ugly, but I just thought some real vile shit when I read it.
Man.
But with Jimmy is just like a different level, and the Heat they're around him. Like they shouldn't be playing this well, especially without Tyler Hero. And I'm not a big Tyler Hero fan either, but Tyler Hero is their first or their second leading scorer or something like that. And you're missing that. But who's my man with the Ira Newell braids who just been going crazy? I didn't watch much Heat games this year.
Going nuts.
He can play.
Gabe Vincent.
No, like the Heat have a very solid basketball team. I think that the regular season they dealt with some injuries, whatever. This shit was weird. But again, like I said, this is the same team that last year led the conference. It's not like we talking about the Bulls. Like if the Bulls, if DeMar DeRozan would have done this, and that would have been literally a unspeakable crime that nobody can recover from. But like you said, losing Giannis for basically 3 games, Drew Holiday, outside of what Jimmy Butler did to him offensively, on the other end, Drew shot 40% from the field, 28% for 3. I think there was one game, even like the game in which Jimmy had 56 points, he was 5 for 17. And I think that more so the question lies with the Bucks is, do you see change to this roster in the future?
And yeah, I'm glad you brought it up because here's something a lot of people ain't talking about. There's a change in ownership coming up. There's a change in ownership. We don't know what their financial direction is going to be. As we always I get why Michael Jordan was upset when Jerry Krause said front offices win championships, but the nigga didn't really lie. Like the nigga did not. If you look at the main reason that the Warriors have competed this last decade, obviously because they have Stephen Curry, and we'll get to my boy Wardell later in the show. I can guarantee you that. But it's because Joe Lacob and Peter Guber don't give a fuck about spending money. These niggas is 2 knees deep into the fucking luxury tax. They don't care. Niggas like Jerry Reinsdorf, I ain't got it. And that's the thing that's going to really pay off for them. Like Giannis, we all know Giannis loves to compete. He wants to be a champion, continue to compete for championships. If they're not serious about rebuilding this roster, not rebuilding it, but retooling this roster, I can see some things getting shaky, especially because I think Chris Middleton done. And not because he's lost talent, it's just the injuries. Yeah. He's cooked. Yeah.
And now one change I see happening, if they decide not to do a major roster shakeup, fire Bud, bring in Nick Nurse. Because if Bud didn't win that ring, they probably would have fired his ass already anyway. If I
love how Nick Nurse told Masai Ujiri, yo, good luck with them niggas.
Yeah, he said, no, I'm not doing this.
The only thing I would say about Bud is yes, they would have fired that championship ring saved Bud because number one, even we had to remember the crimes against humanity he even committed in fucking the game 7 with the damn Nets. He has committed a lot of crimes over the years. Like when he was playing fucking Eric Bledsoe over George Hill. Remember when Eric Bledsoe couldn't make a shot in the Raptors series? But I will give Bud some grace because obviously, stuff with his brother. And then also you were missing the 2-time back-to-back MVP for basically 3 games.
That is a big,
That's the bailout right there.
Yeah, that's the bailout right there. But I think that the reason why I can't let them off the hook, and I know Giannis missed the first 3 games, is the way they lost them last 3.
The way they lost them last 3 games is bad.
Like what are we doing? Not even the last 3, the last 2. They got their ass whooped in game 3.
They were up 10 in game. I'm watching game 4.
I'm in game 4. I'm like, oh, it's a wrap.
Oh yeah, it's a wrap. Game over. And then huh?
It's just a wrap. And then they did the same shit in game 5.
They were up in game 5.
Carbon copy. I was like, okay, it's 3-2. All the pressure's on Miami, going to Miami now. They didn't get this back to game 7. You got the best player on the court. And it's just ridiculous, man. So it's like, yes, there's a bailout for them. He can use the best player in the NBA didn't play the first 3 games. That changes everything if he does play. But I want to get to this quote that Giannis said. And while I don't 100% disagree with him, first of all, the reporter is very spicy for that question. And as a member of the media, there's dumbass questions. This thing is dumbass questions. And I felt like that was a dumbass question. Now, Grant, he got the soundbite that he wanted. So, maybe fuck me. He won. He got the soundbite he wanted. This nigga was interviewed on podcasts. This nigga was on SportsCenter the next day. Random writer from the Athletic. So, that nigga, he got his engagements that he wanted. But one thing I saw from that one, Giannis is a super nice guy. I was really hoping he'd double down on his LeBron. Like, bitch, nigga. Are you a failure for making $50,000 a year every year, nigga?
Bro,
I want him to double down.
When that nigga said, he was about to flip.
I don't want to make it personal.
Do you get an emotion every year? You work hard for promotion. You want to get a house for your family. You want to get new car. Do you get promotion every year? Do you fail?
He's like, so Michael Jordan, he won 6 championships. Was the other 9 years a failure? Like Michael Jordan never got eliminated in the first round when he was the number 1 overall seed. So yes, when you win, if you don't win a championship every year, it's not a failure. I don't agree with that. I've changed my opinion on that. Me and Pavy argued with that shit about the last couple of years. And then I got old as a fan. I was like, you know what? I'm not mad at Knicks fans for going crazy about first round exit. Sports are hard, and only one team wins a championship every year. But in situations like this, nigga, yes, it's a fucking failure. And then Nike nasty for that campaign. Y'all made too much money off Michael Jordan, and God bless Kobe Bryant for to be rolling some bullshit like this. Stop it.
Though. That's what they do.
Stop it, man. Like, what was y'all thoughts on the quotes?
I mean, go ahead.
Yeah, G, it's one of them things where it's like he wasn't wrong, but they ain't really the moment for that. Because like with professional sports, there are winners and losers. That's some shit you tell your high school team. Like, don't sit there. Like, you could tell them if they lost in the sectionals or some shit. Hey, this is a moment to build on. You're gonna remember this for the rest of your life. If you're a professional, you lost. You about to go home and start this shit over next year. Like, that's it. That's all. And so, like, I get it. I got where he was coming from with it, but that I didn't like that. Like,
he wasn't wrong if this was the conference finals.
Right.
I
exactly.
do agree.
He lost to Boston.
Listen, I do agree. You can't win every year. There, has to be one winner and all that. But you won 60 games. You lost in 5. You got gentlemen swept in the first round. No, y'all failed. That wasn't supposed to happen. Again, like I said, I completely get it. Like, yes, only, one team wins. Things can happen, whatever. But you're not supposed to lose in the first round, dog. No, I'm not going there.
And I think what maybe even more mad more than anything wasn't really Giannis, because I feel like Giannis was embarrassed. He was upset. He was lashing out. It's the niggas that I saw after on Twitter and Instagram. And then they had a little 15-minute segment on Inside the NBA where, kids today, they have, issues because they don't feel like they're doing the other stuff. Yo, stop being a fucking loser, nigga. There's winners and losers in life, in sports. If you don't lose, if you don't win, cool. Yeah. You failed this year, but you can be on top next year. There's a ladder to success. I want to feel. I know I'm sound like old head and old school nigga who don't get it. But my son better not bring no participation trophy in my damn house. You lost, nigga. That's fine. Yeah, that don't mean you're losing life. You lost this year though.
Yeah, that's like Last Dance when Mike was like, "Yeah, you may feel the way, but you never won anything.
You never won anything."
It's certain people have that maniacal drive toward winning, and then everybody ain't got it. And Giannis is one of those people who I think like a lot of but I think at the same time, like a lot of today's athletes, it's like, bro, if I lose, I'm all right. Like, it is what it is. Like a lot of them hold it in and don't give you that Bron quote where it's like, you got to go home and be you, and I'm still be me. But
my favorite Bron moment, forever.
Bro. That's how a lot of them feel. That's why, like, I remember when I was working for the Falcons. And if anybody lose in dramatic fashion, it's the fucking Falcons.
Oh,
bro, you go in that locker room, the music on, motherfucker setting up dinner reservations. I remember one day Julio like, yeah, get the back room at STK. Like, they don't give a fuck. Like, your life is set. So like, that's why I say on one hand I get it, but it's like, nah, bro. Like, you lost in the first round. That was disappointing. You could have been like, well, I was hurt. So, not to throw your team under the bus, but just say, hey, we wasn't at full strength. That's all. It's a part of the game. But the way he framed it, I ain't like that.
There's been many Sundays I've seen in my 2 years of covering the Bears that they got the ass whooped and Jalen Johnson Hallway talking, we at STK?
No.
Like 10 minutes after the game. Like, this is many days.
I'm going to say, I need to get that type of money, bro. Just that feeling where they just look so carefree. They just be so carefree, my nigga.
And that's actually perfect segue into our next topic about the Grizzlies. I seen somebody was like, why the fuck Dry Smile on the bench? Well, number one, you was about 40. So I'd rather get my ass whooped. I'd rather get my ass whooped than lose a close game. Number two, this nigga's $250 million up. This nigga got a new shoe coming out. And this 24. Nigga is in Los Angeles with the season over. The world is his oasis.
He's good.
That nigga probably stayed in LA for a week. You saw him outside with the fans and shit.
Nigga, I ain't no problem. Nigga, I text Pav the minute after the game. I'm like, nigga, it's gonna be crowded at Delilah tonight, nigga.
Listen. I will tell y'all when I knew the Grizzlies were unserious. I will not say who I saw, but I was at a certain night spot and I look over and I'm like, What is man's doing in here?
It was during the
Midway
series?
through the series, by the way. It was after game 3. It was after game 3. I'm like, oh no, they're cooked. They are completely unserious. Completely unserious. And then, like, it's like I won't say the person I saw, but that's when I knew the Grizzlies were completely unserious.
It's just a young dumbass thing. Now, and this is the thing about we gonna keep bringing up injuries because there's a lot of injuries in the playoffs right now. They didn't have Steven Adams. They didn't have Brandon Clark. Big thing that I think would have helped a little bit against Anthony Davis. But it still goes down to, even if they were healthy, it was the same problem I said that they were going to have all season. They don't have a legitimate number 2. You know what I'm saying? And I'm not saying Ja played the best because Ja was tweaking. Ja got to stop thinking Jeff Hardy flying through the fucking sky like it's a TLC match and shit. Ja didn't play the best, but you need more consistency. Like Jaren Jackson Jr. wasn't consistent. Desmond Bane wasn't consistent. And they're just like, they gave the Lakers too many shots. Like the Lakers had like 2 blowout wins, but it's like they just weren't even focused. You come off a game where you win without your best player going into game 3. You're like, okay, let's take care of business and get home court back. Them niggas look like they didn't do anything to even prepare. Got smacked off the face in Irving game 3. Did dumb shit at the end of game 4, which they could have won game 4, went to Memphis 2-2. And it's like the Lakers, being the veteran team they are, well, at least veteran and LeBron and Anthony Davis, taking advantage of those things. Now, the Grizzlies had a record-wise a great regular season. I think it was an up and down season off the court, obviously, with Ja, the injuries and things like that. How do they take it to the next level? Because I feel like you do got teams like Sacramento who could be in, a prime position to take their spot as the up and coming, next team.
I think one of those things is probably just maturity as a whole between your young core. So Ja and Jaren Jackson Jr. But I think you do need to bring a veteran presence in there because it's one of those things where, like, it's one thing for a young team to do goofy shit, but when you do goofy shit and then double down on it, and then you want to like start copping pleas, and now we not going to the media days and all the other shit. Like, don't get me wrong. Had they started winning, we wouldn't have cared. But the fact that you did all that talking, that's like it was what's his name? Brandon Jennings said it. He was like, that's pussy shit. Like, you can't do all that talking and then hide your hands. Like, so I think for this team, it's just gonna take some of that maturity, especially with Ja. Even though I feel like some of the shit he was doing, it was wild, but it wasn't the end of the world. But now it's to a point where it's like, bro, you see, you the face of the franchise. They move as you move. So I think if we see Ja continue to mature and take that step, they'll be straight. Right.
I mean, I think the Grizzlies have a good core. I think the Grizzlies, unfortunately for them, they're going to run into the issue of eventually they got to start paying people. This is still Memphis, Tennessee. And then also with the new CBA rules that punish you for that. So I think that'll be very interesting. But whatever they do, I hope that they just don't overreact too much. I hope they don't overreact too much. I know Dillon Brooks has a contract coming up this summer. I think he may have lost himself a couple of dollars in this series, but I still think Dillon Brooks, for that team, he's worth whatever money they're gonna give him, as long as they don't overreact to give him too much money. I think you can give him 65, 70 million. I think he's worth that. But also those guys just also have to go and get better. Ja has to get better. Ja has to get a mid-range game. Ja has to get some type of game so that you don't have to jump through the air like Jeff Hardy. You could just pull up and, hit you a little midi. But they just have to grow as a team, as a organization. But I do think that they will run into, and even Taylor Jenkins. I think there were certain things that Taylor Jenkins.
I'm glad you brought Taylor Jenkins up.
Like,
we can't let him off the hook.
Yeah, there was some things that I thought he could have done better. I thought Luke Kennard should have played more. If you need shooting, you have one of the best shooters in the NBA out there who was actually also kind of defending for whatever reason in this series. I thought Luke Kennard should have played more. Unfortunately, he did have a shoulder issue and he couldn't go for game 5. But I thought he should have played more. I think all of them can get better. I don't think this is a championship team anyway, but I do think that all of them can stand and get better. But I think they will eventually run into the issue when they have to start paying people and people start picking at that roster and taking pieces away, like Tyus Jones. A team might see Tyus
Jones is gone.
He gone.
He's gonna be a starter.
But that's
maybe for your Chicago Bulls.
But don't do it.
But that is a huge loss. Like, you probably had the best backup point guard in the NBA, especially with the fact, with the way Ja plays, he's probably not going to play 75 games. So you had the best backup point guard in the NBA. Like, people start picking at that roster that can definitely do some things to them. But I guess so whatever the Grizzlies do, they don't overreact too much.
Yeah, I feel like I think they gotta get a number 2. Like I don't know which way they do that. I've always said, and I don't know how this is gonna happen because I think he's in the Dame Lillard category of I just want my money. And then I feel like Bradley Beal would be like a perfect compliment to that team.
Fuck no.
Why you
How
don't
much
think
money Bradley Beal making?
No, I'm not talking about money wise. Obviously, I'm just talking about basketball fit. Like,
he getting like 48 or 50, ain't he?
But honestly, going forward, Bradley Beal or Desmond Bane, like honestly, how much of an upgrade is that really?
There's still a big upgrade. You think very high about Desmond Bane?
Nah, but like Bradley Beal, a 30-year-old, pretty much combo guard. Like
I'll take a 30-year-old who can score, nigga. Over. I'm not rolling on Desmond Bane, Alan Payne looking ass. G. I'm just if Alan Payne and Geodude had a baby, it would be Desmond Bane. That's exactly what it would be. If niggas don't know who Geodude is, nigga, go Google who Geodude is. Nigga. Off Pokemon, nigga. I'm not rolling on Desmond Bane. His little corner 3 to hit every couple games. Like, give me Bradley Beal, who we know can get buckets. And be somebody that when Ja's resting can do what he got to do in the games. You need a jumper. Bradley Beal can do that. Now I'm not talking about money wise. We know they're not gonna pay this nigga. He is ridiculously overpaid, and I just think he's fine with staying in DC and being mediocre. That's cool. I'm not opposed to people being there. Just own that shit. But they need a guy who can go out there and get a bucket and help him out. Now, even though Jaren Jackson wasn't as consistent this series, I like some things I saw from Jaren this series. Defensive player of things I feel like he can get better at, and I think those are your 2. But if they get one more guy, I feel like they can do that because I believe Sacramento coming. I believe Sacramento's coming, and I also believe that coaching-wise, I think that's exactly why Sacramento got to where they are because of how great Mike Brown is. What the fuck does Taylor Jenkins do? He the only white nigga I knew last name Jenkins, number 1. Like,
I was about to say that is the blackest white man.
Blackest white. If you to see Taylor Jenkins as a coach, you think he was a nigga. Like you
know what his family did.
Right? Like 100%. 100%. Now there's a lot of things going on in slavery days in that nigga's family. But a lot of things going on. But we're gonna get to the Lakers later in this show as we preview LeBron versus Steph part 5. But let's go to one of the series that kicked off Sunday. Knicks Heat. We already talked about playoff Jimmy, so we ain't really got to get into the wild shit that he's been doing. We already talked about that. But the New York Knickerbockers are actually making me look good because I came on this podcast a couple months ago and I said that this is the best Knicks team in about 30 years. And I'm still standing on that. With just how the depth of this team is. My man Tibbs finally adjusting. Took him 12 fucking years, but he's finally adjusting. Jalen Brunson, we saw flashes of this in the playoffs last year. This dude is a bona fide star. He's going out there. He's going to get you the buckets that you need to get. They're here. Make quick word of the Cavs. I had them beating the Cavs in 6. They made it a game quicker than I thought it was going to be. But everybody was up on the Cavs. I'm like, these niggas play too much go to hell ball. I just don't think that Donovan Mitchell, as good as he is, he's still a con artist at the same time. You can't fool me. The reason that Jalen Brunson is paid as he is right now is because of that nigga in last year's playoff series. As Pat said, Donovan Mitchell is the reason that Jalen Brunson has generational wealth. That's 100% what it is. So you got the Knicks who are poised to, make a conference final. You got them going against the Heat right now. One game in, the Heat up one. Jimmy Butler and the rest of the Heat went crazy in that second half. Now Jimmy has an ankle tweak. It's sore. Now also Jalen Brunson has also been listed as questionable for game 1 now. He has a sore right ankle, and we don't know what's going to happen with Julius Randle. He already missed game 1. So there's a couple injury things going on here, but what's y'all thoughts on game 1 and where y'all think the series is going to go?
I ain't gonna lie. I thought when I saw him roll his ankle the way he got rolled up, I thought it was bad. But like shit like this make me think like the Heat might go on another one of them runs like they did. So especially with Julius Randle playing like shit, which we're gonna have a discussion about because me and Scott been talking about this for the past 2 years. Like it's every time they need him to do anything in any clutch, bro. It could be game 37 of the regular season. You put Julius Randle on the free throw line in the fourth quarter, he's gonna miss 2 free throws. Yeah, he's gonna claim them bitches. This is just what he do. He been doing this since he was on the Lakers. So like I think like with him, I think him and Brunson are both questionable for tonight. So if you can't get 65% of what Julius was giving you in the regular season, I think it's gonna be tough for them because I do think Jalen, that even though he's been going nuts, like having to carry a team on an ankle like that, like he's good, but he ain't no like superstar. Like that's some shit I expect.
He ain't Kyrie.
Exactly, like one of the great ones to do. Like he could prove me wrong, but really step up into that. But no, I think that at the end of the day, the Knicks not gonna have enough. So I'm gonna go Heat in 6. But I think it's gonna be one of those 6s where it's like they beat their ass 2 times. The Knicks may have like one close game that they lose, but I go Heat in 6.
I think the Knicks have a good, solid basketball team, but I think the Cavs made the Knicks look a little bit better than what they are. Like Mitchell Robinson looked like fucking Mutombo. And again, I think Mitchell Robinson is a very good player, but the shit he was doing against Cleveland, against Jared Allen and fucking Evan Mobley, like number one, and also like some of the hustle plays that they made, like Josh Hart when he was going there and getting 10 rebounds and getting those big. I don't know if you get those same plays against a scrappy team like Miami. I do worry about Jimmy, but even when Jimmy rolled his ankle, I'm like, yeah, it's kind of bad, but he's not coming out of the game because
he went back in the game. We all know Jimmy.
It's Jimmy.
Here's Jimmy Butler.
Jimmy, when you look up Heat culture in the dictionary, you see a picture of Jimmy with them wild ass Goldilocks.
He said, "Hey, bro, pass me a perk. Come on, let's go."
Then also, even if you just look at game 1, I think we rolled his ankle. The Heat were up 4. So how did it become a 12-point game? Like Jimmy stayed,
Heat culture, nigga. That's why.
Jimmy stayed on the court, and then New York decided, well, we're not going to put Jimmy in any action. We're just going to actually let him sit on the corner on guarding the worst player. What the fuck? Yeah. And then you got to think about the coaching matchup here. Eric Spoelstra, I think we can all agree, is probably one of the best coaches in NBA history, and I think Eric Spoelstra can coach you to winning a game or two, as well as with the people that the veteran experience. You have Kyle Lowry, champion. You have Kevin Love, champion. You have Jimmy Butler, mad playoff runs. Bam Adebayo, he's been there before. So I think that the experience of the Heat will overtake what the Knicks have. And also, again, I just think that the maybe 1 through 10, I think the Heat may have a little bit of a better roster, especially near the top.
When healthy, I agree.
When healthy.
Yeah. I picked the Knicks in 7. I'm not gonna back off it, but I am a little worried about that. I feel like just because I love Jimmy, man, and I don't really think the ankle injury is gonna matter that much. And let's just say Jimmy doesn't play game 2. Let's just say, like, look, he can play, but we gonna let him rest. We already came to the Garden deal we wanted to do in that split, take home court advantage back. Nigga, like we just saw, Heat culture, like we just have a random nigga go crazy. Like Gabe Vincent might go for 40 or some shit like that. We laughing, but that's some Heat shit. That's peak Miami Heat basketball right there. And so I could see that happening, but I'm picking Knicks. But to me, this is a pick 'em series. I can see it go either fucking way. And if Jalen Brunson is as hurt as they're saying, that puts a little damper into it because now Miami is becoming real home court advantage. Like that was the loudest we've heard it in Miami, nigga, since Bron Wade. You know what I'm saying? Like those fans, we know they're not gonna show up to the second quarter, but when they show up, it's gonna get louder than that motherfucker. So I think that's something where the Knicks have to win. When you watch this, will be tonight. They have to win tonight because you don't want to go to the Yayo down 0-2. You don't want that. Ross gonna be courtside, Khaled nigga. You all them niggas. You don't want to be down. And then Jimmy Butler. You know one thing you know about Jimmy? He gonna talk shit this whole series. He don't give a fuck. He was telling Drew Holiday, "I own you down like 8, nigga." He don't care. That's just who Jimmy is. But the Knicks need to take advantage of this right now. But I do think that they have enough. But it's tough. Like we just said, Eric Spoelstra is one of the best, not only one of the best coaches in the last decade, he's one of the best coaches all the time now. I think you could put Spo at least in the top 10, I don't know about top 5, but at least you can put him in the top 10 greatest coaches of all time discussion, at least in the NBA. You know what I'm saying?
And one my thing with Spo, like, and we spoke about how the Knicks wouldn't put Jimmy in any action. If you saw when they played the Bucks, one of the first things he did whenever they tried to deny Jimmy is they put Bam as the ball handler, so Jimmy could come over and put him in the move and get the work. So like this is my issue because I agree, Spo is definitely I agree with top 10 coach. And as much as we've talked about Tibbs, and Justin,
or as Dan Levitar likes to call him, Filipino Jackson. Which is my favorite
I like that.
Nickname.
I like
Filipino Jackson.
That's actually hard. But my thing is, because we've all spoke about how Tibbs started to adjust more. What, in y'all opinion, what adjustment do you do now with Julius Randle pretty much not giving you anything. Like I know he missed game 1, but I mean just in general.
Are they better without Julius Randle?
I was just about to say that, Pav. Like I was just about to say that, bro.
I mean, if you look at the way Randle plays a game of basketball, Randle does a thing where it's like for him to score 24 points, he probably has to have the ball a lot. It's not like he's he's swinging the ball around. He's a great catch and shoot. I mean, he can catch. He's not a great catch and shoot player. Like you have to run plays specifically for him, which stalls out the rest of the offense. And again, some of the things that worked against Cleveland, just because Cleveland front line got completely punked, which I did not see that happening. I don't think will work.
Yeah, and not only did they get punked, did you see them quotes after? Like,
like what are we doing?
Like,
what are we doing?
Skirt up, bro.
Bro, I thought Jared Allen and Evan Mobley were fucking rim protectors.
I thought Jared Allen's quote was like, I was like, there's no way he actually said this.
I'm like, what? Yeah, the man literally said the lights were too bright. Wait, huh?
Myself included.
Okay.
Nigga said, man, I saw Gaylord Farker, Ben Stiller at the corner, and I just couldn't do it no more. Niggas, too many celebrities here.
Like what? Again, some of those things, like if we see Bam matching up against Julius Randle, right? Like that's to me is advantage Bam Adebayo. So some of the things that they got away with against the Cal, I don't think they get away with the Heat. So like, are they? I mean, obviously he makes too much money. You can't just like bench Julius Randle. Like if he's able to go, you have to play him.
Tibbs benched him. Was it game 4?
Yeah, I think it was game 4. That fourth quarter he benched him.
That fourth quarter, and Obi Toppin went crazy. And like you said, now granted, this is the Cavaliers defense, which is way worse than the Miami.
We all thought
defense.
It was.
Like, and there's one thing we saw even in the second half of game 1. The Heat, once they switch the zone, they be getting a lot of niggas fucked up when they get the zone. That's what got Milwaukee out of whack too. And I think that's kind of like the thing that they're going to continue to ride on. But I think it's going to be a long series. I'm a pick Knicks only because that I initially picked them. But I think Miami might win this series. It's going to be real interesting to see, if Jimmy plays, how bad the ankle is for Jalen Brunson. I think these are two big things here. Me and Dante was talking about this last week. We were talking about celebrities. And somebody tweeted, like, who has more celebrity games? And who has more celebrity games, Knicks or Lakers? I'm like, Knicks got famous New Yorkers. You know what I'm saying? If there was any doubt, nigga, the Lakers are back, nigga. When we saw on Friday, nigga, Jack was out the house.
They rolled Jack out the crib. I said,
they rolled Jack out the crib, nigga. Dr. Dre came out. Not only did Dr. Dre not come out, Dr. Dre put a jacket on niggas. He ain't had a regular black t-shirt on, nigga. Motherfucking Larry David was out. They had Prince Harry out. So if there's any question, and Leonardo DiCaprio was out of game 3. Lakers celebrities are like a whole different thing. Like with Knicks, you'll get your Ben Stillers, your Tracy Morgans, shit like that. But it's a different thing. But I do feel like it's good to see these big name franchises in here. You know what I'm saying? It'd be nice for certain other ones there too, but we ain't gonna get on there. I'm not gonna start ranting. But anyway, let's get to the Sixers and the Celtics, which by the time you listen to this, game 1 will already be in the books, but we're recording this as game 1 is about to start now. Sixers, Celtics. Joel Embiid is out. No, Dante, were you gonna say something?
I'm about to say, if you've been watching this and you see my facial expressions, they've been lighting this bitch up. Like,
oh, they have.
They both got like 35 or some shit, right?
Yeah, Harden got 16 in the first.
Yeah, so it's a tight game. Oh, okay. All right. I can't see from over here. I got the TV over there. But no Embiid for game 1. Embiid is they say he can barely do any basketball moves, like he's been shooting around and things. So
he's not playing the series, bro.
I don't think he's playing this series. They said
he probably has a torn LCL. He's not playing the series.
They said it's not a great one, which means they don't want to for competitive advantage. Say that, but that motherfucker tore, bro. Like if he been like they've been off a week and he didn't play game 4 against Brooklyn, so he's been out even longer. And so you got that. What do y'all think about this series? I was not that impressed with Boston in the first round, even though I said that was gonna go 6 because Atlanta's just fluky and they can do shit like that. But what do y'all think about this series and what you've seen from the Celtics so far?
I think Boston will win the series, but again, you did go 6 games with the Hawks. Now, I don't think the Hawks are a terrible basketball team. I think the Hawks at least have players. They have pieces. It's a kind of weird roster construction, but they do have pieces. Like, again, they do have 2 legitimate all-stars in Trae Young and Murray. They have people who are okay, but you shouldn't have went 6 games with the fucking Atlanta Hawks. Jason Tatum is swindling us again. Tricking us again. It was what game was it? Was like one game when literally for 30 minutes of real time, I didn't see Tatum do anything. I saw a whole bunch of Jaylen Brown. I didn't see Tatum do anything. And I would actually argue, I think that the first year coach, what's his name?
Joe Mazzulla.
Mazzulla.
Joe Mazzulla.
I think he's actually learning a little bit on the fly, honestly.
Yeah,
I think because even like their defense, like the defense that we like last year, I thought last year I thought their offense was actually kind of terrible. All they really do is swing the ball and penetrate, swing the ball and shoot threes. But their defense was so great that they could usually keep teams to 8 to 10 points. Like they would never let the game get too far out. And then if they got ahead and they put that defense on you, you weren't going to score. But this year, the defense that they've been hanging at their hat on so far in the playoffs hasn't really been the same. So I think that they'll win this series, but because Embiid's out, and just unfortunately for him, that's one of the things I said about like just always for whatever reason you get to the playoffs and something happens to Joel Embiid every year. It's not his fault, but something happens to him every single year.
But you know what? I think it is his fault. Like when you big as hell like that, you can't play like a guard, G. It was one game. This motherfucker's on the floor every other play.
He played like a 7 feet Ja Morant.
He falls.
And while you playing, I think he hurt his knee on that play where he hit the scansion and you saw his knee like twist and he grabbed it. I think that's what he really tore his shit. But no, I think at some point it's like, bro, I know you in Philly, but you not AI, bro. You ain't got to do the fall 6 times, get up 7 shit. Like play your game, stretch the floor. But sometimes I think he does just too much. And when you 7 foot, 300 pounds, all that wear and tear on your body, that shit it's not gonna go. It ain't gonna work.
Especially when you've had the injury history that he's already had, even like before in the league. So I think they'll win this series just because like I don't think Philly has much of a chance without Embiid. Because of the way Boston plays, I don't think it'll be without contest. I think that Boston
it's gonna be a
5
series
games or something like that. 5, maybe 6, maybe 6. But either way, I'm still not that impressed by Boston, and I probably won't be that impressed still, even when this series ends.
Yeah, I'm not impressed by Boston whatsoever. Like me and Pav we've been labeled Jason Tatum haters, which we are not. We just have a little thing called eyes, and we actually do things where we watch the game. My new thing now I do, which I just started doing last year. I actually don't tweet while I'm watching playoff games, because if you actually watch the games, like you could be watching Twitter. And the game is nothing what you're seeing on the timeline. Like you would think that niggas is down 20 other shit. Like it's just too distracting for me. It's like you're like a greater appreciation for it. And I've done this with all sports this year, just staying off Twitter. And just from watching these games, not impressed by Boston. I'm just not. I think they're coming out the East by default. Like you just said, Pav, defensively, they're not what they were last year. Robert Williams, when he does play, is good, but that's the question. When he does play, I think there's too many times in the games where they could put niggas away. If Jason Tatum just used the actual talent that he has, they could put niggas away. There's too many times where Jaylen Brown got to do so many things because this nigga don't want to do what he wants to do. And it feels like Jaylen Brown is reluctantly doing these things. Like, if you listen to some of the quotes he had, that nigga can't wait to get out of Boston.
Oh, yeah, he gone.
Yeah, he can't wait. Outside the fact that Boston is racist as shit, and only black people who like living there are members of New Edition. Nobody likes Boston View black person outside of them. And number 2, I think he tired of being number 2 to this nigga. I really think in his head, he ain't like that. So I think he tired of that. And as far as Philly, if Embiid was healthy, this might be a conversation. I might actually take Philly. But just based off them going to 6 games with Atlanta, I'm going to give them at least 6 games here against Philadelphia. But if Boston wants to win a championship, which is obviously their goal, they lost in the finals last year, they got a lot of things they got to work on, because this is not what you're supposed to dust Atlanta. You're supposed to leave no doubt. We on this tier, and these niggas are here. We learned from our mistake last year, and we're going to step it up to the next level. I have just not seen that from this team.
I just think it's play style, man. Like I'm like looking at the stats. Jason Tatum in a 6-game series took 63s. and shot 35%. Like he shot 45% from the field, 35% from three. Jaylen and scored 27 points. Jaylen Brown, on the other hand, shot 54% from the field, 51% from three. Now he sucked from the free throw line, but still, I just think it's their play style, man. Like they don't run enough offense. And Tatum, for whatever reason, is 6'10", but has watched way too many Kobe videos. So he decides to think that he's a shooting guard when really you're 6'10", and your size is your best advantage. You should probably be playing closer to the basket, but he wants to fucking play like he worked out with Kyrie way too much. And again, offensively, it just doesn't have rhythm. Literally, they just drive, swing. Okay, you're up for three now. It's like y'all got to have a little bit more rhythm, especially if you're not defending at the same clip that you were last year.
Yeah. And like to your point about his play style, I think he really need to drop all that like that cosplay Kobe shit, as we jokingly call him. But like another player, I think he should try to emulate. He's not as smooth, but he should play more like Paul George. Like you sitting there just jacking threes. Like, nah, bro, you 16.
Who is better than Jason Tatum, by the way? I just wanted to get that out.
Bro,
there.
My only knock on Paul George is he can't stay healthy. That is it. That is it. Ain't nothing else you can say about that man.
Yeah, people at the internet, once the internet has people they hate, like people forget, like, oh, what he doing? Paul George has led 3 teams to a conference finals, like 3. Like he did it twice in Indiana, he did it once with the Clippers when Kawhi get hurt. Like and PG and people, you think Jason Tatum? Yeah. Paul George is better than Jason Tatum. I stand by it.
Bro, and we also watched that man snap his damn leg and come back. You know what I'm saying? Do his thing.
Better. Come back better.
Yeah, I agree with that, man. Let's go to the West as we wrap this up. We will get to Lakers. Well, I want to do Lakers Warriors last. Denver, Phoenix. By the time you listen to this, we'll be 2 games into this. Phoenix, Denver. I'm gonna say something about the Denver Nuggets that I've been wanting to say for a couple weeks. I've just been too pussy to say it, but I'm gonna say it. The Denver Nuggets are winning the NBA championship. I'm saying it. I'm standing by it. The Denver Nuggets are winning the NBA championship. If Jamal Murray keeps playing the way he's been playing, they are going to win the NBA championship. This is a team where Jokic hasn't even had to make his mark yet, at least in this year, because of just how crazy Jamal Murray's been going. They've been playing good defense. They've been spreading the ball around. The others are supporting, and they've got a team against Phoenix where when we did our first preview for the playoffs, I said I think I got Phoenix coming out of the finals, even though I don't know what they're going to look like. After 2 games of that Clipper series, actually after 3 games, I was like, if Kawhi Leonard was healthy, we wouldn't even be talking about Phoenix right now. 100%. I don't even think they would have needed Paul George. I think if Kawhi didn't get hurt, the Clippers win that series. Phoenix they don't have enough right now. I think this is something, obviously, we talked about when the KD trade went down. They got rid of 2 of their best players in Mikal Bridges and Cam Johnson. Of course, you do that trade every day of the week to get Kevin Durant. But the main thing is KD and Book have to do too much for these guys to even be in the games. Like, they're playing too many minutes. Both of them lost 40 minutes in game 1 off a fucking blowout. Like, that fourth quarter wasn't even close. You know what I'm saying? They had to do all of that. And Chris Paul is officially washed. Not just like we all knew that he was coming down defensively, but he can't do nothing with Jamal Murray. Like, he can't do anything with him. And he is missing the shot that used to be his bread and butter. And when the mid-range is not there for Chris Paul, it's a wrap. It's a fucking wrap. And that's why I think they're honestly going to take a serious look at Kyrie Irving this offseason. I truly believe they're going to do that to add that with him. I don't know who the fuck. How many times we can talk about DeAndre Ayton? I don't know who this nigga is. Like, I just don't know who DeAndre Ayton is. He looks 50. He don't play consistently enough to be as drafted as he was. And they need him to do that. And I just feel like it's too much. I feel like they'll be able to get a game or 2 just because there's going to be a game or 2 where KD and Book are just too much. To me, Devin Booker has probably been the best player in the playoffs this year so far. Just off of what they're doing, they'll be able to squeeze a game or 2, maybe even only a game, because outside of that one bad quarter they had against Minnesota, they did what they need to do against a team like, against Minnesota. They did what I felt like Boston needed to do to Atlanta. So I think it's going to be at the most a 6-game series, but I feel like Denver finally, if they can stay healthy, and I'm going to keep saying this because you guys say this every round now, if they can stay healthy, I think these dudes win the championship.
I mean, I think that, okay, number one, somebody pointed this out on Twitter. We do have to realize this is the same Suns team that gave up 120 points twice to the Clippers without Paul George and Kawhi Leonard. Twice.
This is also true. Yeah.
Twice. twice. So we shouldn't be shocked by the fact that they can't guard anybody because they let Norman. I fuck with Norman Powell. I like
Norman Powell's looking
Norman
generational
Powell
in game
had
3.
41 points. Like
Yeah.
he was balling. There was a lot of shit that was happening in that series where it's like, yo, come on, like this shouldn't be happening. And I was tweeting about the game, and I got a lot of people talking to me about Monty Williams and things like that and about his coaching. Number one, I'm not somebody who doesn't believe the Suns don't have a bench. I believe the Suns don't use their bench at all. Like Cam Johnson, for the past couple of years, he's been a solid player. Obviously, he's not going to light the world on fire, but he's probably, outside of Devin Booker, the only guard they have on the roster that can actually penetrate. Obviously, Chris Paul at his age and mobility isn't the same as what it once was. He can actually get down here and put pressure on the defense. Terrence Ross is the legitimate NBA player to me. Damian Lee at one point in time was leading the league in 3-point percentage. You have Biyombo, like you have guys off the bench who can play. So
There's
that
a question though: are these guys you trust in the playoffs though?
How long? I mean, bro, you can't, bro. Number one, you're gonna always have either two of KD, Book, CP3, or Aiden on the court. You can't sub the rest of them out and get you some offense going. Like KD got to play 46 minutes. 46 minutes.
Look, man, I feel like from the first couple games, he tried to run an 11-man rotation. First 2 games, he ran 11-man rotation against the Clippers and realized these niggas ain't good.
No, but also, Cam Johnson, Cam Payne didn't play until like game 4. Now, granted, I know.
Well, he's still hurt though, ain't he?
He was hurt. He came back in the middle of the series, so maybe he's not in rhythm. Like, I get it. Okay, cool. And then also the way that they play. Kevin Durant just dribbling the ball into the floor. Like what? Like he literally 26 feet away, just dribbling the fucking ball. Like, bro, run some actual offense. Like, I've seen KD dribble entirely too much. He's dribbling like he's 27 years old. Bro, you are 34. I have also not been that impressed by Kevin Durant this entire playoffs. Defensively, he's been solid, but the unfortunate part for him is he's actually their rim protector because Aiden doesn't block shots. So Kevin Durant is actually their rim protector. They have serious issues defensively, and that is like, I think all of them, everybody on the Nuggets realized, oh shit, y'all can't guard me. Some of the shots Aaron Gordon was taking, it was like, yo, what's going on? Like, Aaron Gordon is putting people in the cup. I fuck with Jamal Murray. I love Jamal Murray. He can ball. But some of the shit he was doing there, when he was yelling at Landry Shamet, you can't. First of all, Landry Shamet guarding you is funny as hell anyway. But when he was yelling at Landry Shamet, like, yo, you can't guard
Here's the question, though. And this one goes to me saying they can win the championship. What guards in both conferences right now who's still alive can guard this nigga?
You're not wrong. You're not wrong. You're not wrong. You're not wrong, which is why I do think it is a possibility. My thing with the Nuggets has always never been Jokic because I know what Jokic's going to do, but what is Jamal Murray and what is Michael Porter Jr. going to do? If fucking Jamal Murray, I think Jamal Murray is averaging 27 right now. If Jamal Murray keeps averaging about 25 points and we can consistently get 18 to 22 from Porter and Gordon can go out there and get you, 16, 17, then yeah. But yeah, the Suns, I just think that, again, you make the trade, you make that trade every day, but I think that there are going to be some roster overhauls probably this summer because 100%. The fact of the matter is they literally just can't guard anybody. And the way that they play offense isn't good enough. They don't play like a fluid form of offense. They isolate a lot, meaning that you always have potential to go cold. So their offense isn't, fluid enough for them to be able to get away with not guarding people the way that they aren't guarding people. So I think that there will be some turnover this summer.
I definitely agree with that because I think at the end of the day, we've seen at this point too many teams who get 2 or 3 superstars and try to lean heavily on them, and the reality is like,
them days
but what we've seen, bro. Not only that, like, who does this shit really work with outside of Braun? You feel me? In terms of winning championships, like the Warriors, that's a team that was drafted and Clay, they're still more so old school complementary pieces. You feel me? It's not in the same sense where you got 2 or 3 people who are supreme talents, and all right, we're gonna just ride y'all back. But we saw something similar in Brooklyn where even though health was the main issue, but they also had their problem because they traded their whole damn bench away for James Harden. It's like when you create these holes and you have these, I don't think Aiden is gonna be back. Like I don't
Monty Williams can't stand that nigga.
Yeah, they said they really don't like each other, so I don't think bro is coming back at all.
We might have to have some questions about Monty Williams too.
Nah, I'm with you too.
Hold on.
They give him a pass because he's a nice guy.
Nice guy, but brother, Mikal Bridges got traded to Brooklyn, and he looked like the person they traded for.
Yeah.
Why couldn't he do none of this in Phoenix?
Yeah.
What were you doing that didn't allow Mikal Bridges to do this in Phoenix? Don't let Aiden get traded away and start averaging 25 and 10.
Yeah, then we really gonna be like, all right, what's
he
going on here, Monty?
He gonna get traded and turn into Chris Bosh. Then we gonna have to ask like, what's really cracking?
Hold on, dog. What's going on? What's going on? I got some questions about Monty too, but I just want to say that.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, that's facts. But no, I still think, at the end of the day, as great as KD is, and we've all talked about it, we get into that point where like those miles start to add up, and you can't rely on him to do everything every night. Devin Booker's amazing. He gets buckets. He plays defense. But again, at the end of the day, no matter how good your 1 and 2 are, you still gonna need those complementary pieces to get other shit done. And if you can't defend nobody, I understand this is a high scoring game, but this ain't the regular season, bro.
Still wins championships.
If you can't defend nobody, you're about to get cooked out here.
Yeah, I agree with that one, man. How many games you think it's gonna go?
5. I was just about to say that 5. I don't like.
Yeah.
I haven't had much faith in Phoenix, even though like I thought they was gonna do the damn thing, but no.
Yeah, it's one of the things where they'll be better next year, but as of right now, it ain't right. They're gonna take CP3 back like old Yellow.
Will they be better next year?
I mean, if they add the right pieces, I think, and KD can stay healthy. Well, KD, once Black History Month comes, KD get hurt every year. Right on schedule.
Same injury.
So we'll see what happens with that, man. But let's wrap this up with the last series, man. The series that everybody's looking forward to. Golden State Warriors hosting the Los Angeles Lakers, man. This is LeBron Steph Part 5. This has become one of the best rivalries in the NBA. Granted, a lot of it's one-sided, but it's become one of the best rivalries. Definitely wanted to get the computers puting on NBA Twitter. So about Steph first, 50 points, most for a Game 7 in NBA history, coming back. And I don't think anybody's really shocked that they won Game 7. I thought that even though they got their ass whooped in Game 6, like, it's the Warriors, man. We know the Warriors play with their food. There's one thing I expected. They were going to come out with zero urgency in Game 6.
Yeah, definitely. I texted my homie from Oakland. I said, y'all been terrible on the road all season. So just because of that, Steph probably going to go crazy and y'all going to win by like 10. Like, it was one of them things where it was like,
and they won by 20.
The way it was setting up, and even you heard Draymond say it. He said when he spoke to the team, he said, I knew he wasn't gonna let us lose that game. Like, so I think it's one of those times where it's like, people try to, I don't want to say discredit Steph, but
no, they do.
Because he is a jump shooter, and because he isn't your typical superstar.
Because he's light skinned, ladies and gentlemen. That's what it is. That's what it is. They hate to see us winning.
You cut it out right now.
That's all this. He's number one on the court. Drake number one on the box office. I mean, in the Billboard, nigga. You can't stop us.
Yeah, but no, I think it's like with Steph is obviously, I know people always talk about Magic and John Stockton. We talking just a pure point guard, but I think Steph is definitely in that top 2 conversation.
Yeah, he's in there
at this point. You and if he gets another ring, you have to put him in there. Like, it's nothing you can do. I understand the different play styles and things like that, but that goes more into just splitting hairs. But I think it's been cemented. We always, because we in this 24-hour news cycle, and we always trying to talk about something. Then every 6 months is a fucking legacy game, or
nigga, you ain't seen nothing yet. The coverage of this series is going to be nasty.
Oh, it's about to be disgusting. This shit's
I'm not, nigga. I'm staying off Twitter for this entire series. I am not reading nothing on here.
Man, look, like, obviously it was Game 7. Obviously you don't expect nobody to score 50 points, but Steph is gonna come out there flagging and do whatever. What you didn't know was fucking Kevon Looney was gonna bro. Like, yeah, y'all talking about Steph Curry. You like, Kevon Looney. That was like in the third quarter. I think they had like 18 offensive rebounds or something. Like, had a team or something. No, it wasn't 18, but they had like 8 offensive rebounds.
He's catching all them playing Wiggins bricks.
And fucking Kevon Looney had like 6 of them, and 3 of them like one possession. Like, Sabonis. What the fuck? What the fuck, Sabonis?
Sabonis making his daddy look bad.
Kevon Looney, they said only that the fucking stat came up. Since the merger, that's 1975. Only 3 people have had 20 not one other person has had 20 rebounds 3 times in a series. You let Kevon Looney do that. Looney. Kevon fucking Looney.
I mean, Kevon Looney has been like the epitome of Golden State building their roster, because he's been getting better and better every year.
But like, he was dominating.
Yeah.
He
Doing what he wanted.
genuinely was dominating. They could shoot what. And number one, if they didn't miss so many free throws, they would have won by more.
They would have won by
Missed like
30,
15
right?
free throws, actually. They missed like 10, 15 free throws. Now, as far as Lakers Warriors goes, in my personal opinion, I would pick the Warriors to win. I just think that the Lakers will have a harder time guarding the Warriors on the perimeter. I also don't know who the fuck is supposed to check Steph. I think Schroeder will try, but no.
Schroeder gonna get worked out.
Also, I don't know how much D'Lo can even play in this series. I don't know how much D'Lo can play. Also, LeBron, I know he's not trying to run around these damn screens at 37 and chase these people. I know he's not trying to do that. I think the biggest advantage that they may have is I think the Warriors either win every matchup at every position, or they can win. Even I think Wiggins and Braun. I think Wiggins can win some of those matchups some nights.
Yeah.
And if he doesn't, I think that he can at least make it difficult for LeBron. I think the only matchup that they should win every night, but you know it's AD. You never fucking know. Should win every night is the Anthony Davis, Kevon Looney, Draymond Green matchup. I think that matchup they should win every night. But
that's the thing. Like, I'm not too sure about that.
I'm not too sure about that.
Like, this thing with AD, like, he had no excuse in the first round. There was no Steven Adams, no Brandon Clark. And that nigga probably had, 2-3 good games? Like,
to be fair to AD, he did have some generational defensive performances. He just didn't score that well.
But we need more than that, bro. It's more than you just playing defense. Like, I need both. There was some game 2. What the fuck was that? It was game 3. Like, it was too many games. We got outplayed by Xavier Tillman, and that type of shit ain't gonna cut it. If the Warriors didn't play with their food as much as they did, I would say this is gonna be a 5-game series. But since the Warriors like to play with their fucking food, I'm gonna say this is gonna go 7.
I think they'll be more like than they were last round though.
Yeah, maybe because of the matchup. They can smell the finish line. I don't think they scared of Denver whatsoever. They probably like them niggas pussy too. So I think they can say like, oh, look at the East. There's no Giannis. We beat Boston. We can beat them niggas. Like, I think they feel like they have a real legit shot to get number 5. And just be very clear, if Steph gets number 5, you're going to want to tune into that episode of Ball Don't Lie, because I'm getting flagrant. I'm getting more. Pav looked like I was crazy when I put Curry over Shaq at the end of when he got 4 last year. You're going to look at me even more crazy with the things I'm going to say if he get number 5. Let's be very clear about that. There's a certain nigga we have a picture of in my bedroom right now.
I'm about to say, Bing gonna come strike you down, nigga. You better not say it.
Hey, dog, look. Hey, man, look. I'm just saying. Don't let my nigga Steph get 5. I'm getting flagrant. I'm just letting niggas know right now. But I think this will go 7. If the Warriors like do what they're supposed to do, this won't be a 7-game series. But I know everybody's like, Bron ain't gonna love, but Bron ain't. Look, man, and I'm not trying to get my Dylan Brooks on. Bron had some great games in the series. The 20 and 20 was great. But Dylan Brooks won 100% wrong. This nigga did not have 40. He didn't come close to getting 40. Did he even have a 30-point game in this series?
No, smooth 25.
I don't think he did. Smooth 25. These niggas ain't the Grizzlies. We just talked about the Grizzlies went to Memphis 2-2. They could have took a 3-2 series lead at some point in that if they weren't so fucking stupid. The Warriors aren't dumb, and what they make up for defensively is not as great defensively as they used to be. And I think the Lakers are the better defensive team in this series. I just feel like there's too many intangibles here, and I feel like Steph Curry is better now than he was in his MVP years. And the little, I don't think it was in his head mentally, but the little he's not clutch thing, that shit is dead and gone. And I feel like whatever monkey he had on his back is gone, and I feel like they really feel like this might be the last dance. And the thing that changes all of this for the Lakers to win this series, we say this every time, Pav just said a couple seconds, if Anthony Davis can actually be Anthony Davis for an entire fucking series, the Lakers can win. I'm just not betting on that. We haven't seen it all series. Season. We didn't see it against Memphis. And Memphis ain't these niggas. And the difference is, like you said, D-Lo is going to be unplayable. I know he had a couple hot streaks at the end of that series. That shit, if he plays there, they're going to be in real fucking trouble, man. So I'm going to go Warriors in 7. And if they don't play at their food, I think this will be a shorter series.
I'm going to go. I picked the Lakers to win the damn championship, but I also thought Sacramento was going to win. So,
yeah, you see the look of this nigga. He's wilding for that.
I thought the matchups was gonna be different. That's all. That's
I didn't see it going this way.
I didn't see shit shaping like. No, I'm gonna go. I'm gonna go Warriors in 6 because I do think Steph. That 50-point game, Steph is locked in. Like he knows who he is, and like I think he's not one of those people. Like there's a quote that Kobe had about Steph where he said he has this calmness to him, and he said that's terrifying because he knows what he can do. And he knows you can't stop him, but you'll never see him like sweat. And that's pretty much Steph. Like Steph is pretty much even killed the whole game. You may see him get upset every once in a while, even as much as he gets like grabbed and pulled and scratched and all type of other shit during the game. So, but I think he's locked the fuck in. And I'm gonna go Warriors in 6. I think it's gonna be an entertaining 6.
It's gonna be a fun series. And I think JJ Redick said on his pod that he said Steph is a sicko. He said Steph was telling to the crowd, talking about y'all ain't ready for this shit. This nigga lit the beam at the end and shit. You know what I'm saying? And one thing I love about Draymond, you see Draymond talking shit to Kings fans as he was leaving. He said, like that shit, motherfucker. And he was yelling at the fucking Kings fans. And the winner, when somebody tweeted, the winner of the series be cut when custody of Draymond. We all know. The love affair that he has with LeBron James is nasty. But one last thing before we got it, is there any historical impact here on maybe the final chapter in the LeBron Steph saga to you guys, or is the media making too much of it?
I would say they're making too much of it because I think Bron gonna be around for at least 2 more years. Now, how effective he'll be, that's the question. But I think he'll be here, and I think the Lakers will attempt to continue to put pieces around him. So I don't think it's the last time we see them play each other. So as far as a legacy impact, no, it's just fun to see 2 stars go at it because we don't see that often.
I mean, legacy impact, no, but I do think obviously it's incredible for the league. I mean, the league has to be.
Oh, Adam Silver's having an amazing time.
When you look at the matchups, I mean, what you got, Knicks, Heat, classic rivalry. You got Celtics, Sixers, classic rivalry. You go back to the 80s. Nuggets, Suns is kind of some new shit, but that's that.
But you still got Jokic and KD.
Jokic and KD. Then you got Lakers, Warriors, Bron versus Steph. History-wise, no. I think both of these guys, all they can do is add to their resume. Like nothing that they will do will retract. Obviously, Bron's 38. We know Bron's best years are far behind him. Steph, I think that ring last year, kind of what more can you really like? I won.
That was the hour. That was track 2 of the Black Album.
Yeah, like I won. I won before KD. If you want to say that was a fluke, whatever. We won with KD, and then I won without KD, and I won, which I think is the most overrated award.
Overrated award, whatever. The finals
MVP, whatever. But nah, I don't think there's some But I just think it's really fun and cool for the fans and cool for the league. And have you seen those ticket prices?
I didn't even want.
Have you? Oh my goodness! I think it's cool for the fans, the stadium, and everybody else.
It's probably like $800 just to get inside. Just to get on fifth row is $800.
It's like literally NBA Finals prices.
Yeah, it's gonna be ridiculous. I don't think legacy wise, both dudes' legacy are set. That's why I'm not gonna be on Twitter because it's gonna be ridiculous. Like from Steph stands, from LeBron stands to Warrior fans to actual Laker fans.
Yeah,
it's gonna be wild conversation. If LeBron loses to Steph, okay, he's lost to Steph mad times. That doesn't change anything about it. If Steph beats him, okay, whatever. And if Steph loses, okay, you still got a winning playoff record against. Nothing really matters. Both of these guys are sprinting to fucking Springfield. The day they get announced as eligible, they're going to the Hall of Fame. None of that's going to change. But the reason I say it's the last matchup between because LeBron will still be around, Steph still be around. I don't think these two are gonna meet in the playoffs again because I don't really know what the Warriors gonna look like next year. I don't think Draymond's coming back, and I do think this is the last ride for Lakers in general because I don't think I think this is their window. If they don't get it done this time, they're not getting it done next year. So to me, that's the last one, and I think this is gonna be obviously from a cultural perspective. It's not what Bird and Magic was. Nothing's gonna be like that. That's the rivalry that literally saved the league, but it's the closest you gonna get from like an individual perspective of meeting that many times between those two. So I feel like people know the words appreciate. You need to appreciate this because you ain't going to see this for a minute, especially with all the moving arounds that goes on in the league. So that's how I'm going to go from there. But marketing-wise, it's going to be nasty. So get ready for every game overreactions. But that's all we got. Go ahead. Is something you had to say before we go?
I was about to say, no, the Warrior fans are the fucking worst online. So I agree with you 100%. Like they
I won't say Laker fans are worse. I'm gonna say Laker fans are worse.
The Warrior, because my thing with the Warrior fans is Warrior fans act like they the fucking Yankees, bro. Like it's like y'all just got good. Like
they the Yankees of the last decade.
Warriors fans are also usually under 24, which makes it worse.
Lakers, they're the Yankees in the last 10 years. And we got to stop actually using that because the Yankees ain't won shit in like 15 years.
No, but when I say the Yankees, I'm talking about whenever you hear Yankees, they say 27 rings. You know, they talk like, just
Laker fans don't bring up them 17 championships.
But they also won over several generations. Like they just got trashed. The Warriors were very bad. Like before the ring that Steph won, they won what in the 70s? Yeah, you had Run TMC, so you had your moments, but like the Warriors fans be talking crazy.
The last decade has been their moment. They have every right to talk crazy. They trying to get 5 in the last 9 years. Like it's not like if Denver won something right now, they're like, well, you niggas won 1 championship. Like these niggas they've dominated the last 10 years, bro. Like the fact that they're even still here with the injuries and shit.
And that would be fine if that was the simple statement that they making, but they be saying a lot of bullshit.
Maybe because I live around Laker fans. I think Laker fans are the worst people on planet Earth.
Nah, Warriors fans, bro.
I think Laker fans are worse. Like Laker fans are like the Lakers fans are in the same category with Cowboy fans, Duke fans, Yankee fans too, because a lot of them Yankee championships came before black people could vote. So it's kind of like they're all in the same spoiled conversation. But it will be a interesting Twitter battles I will not be watching. I'm going to actually enjoy these games, man. But that's all we got for y'all. A longer episode than usual. Pav, thank you for joining us. Always good to talk hoops with you. Download his. Oh, that's like an old nigga. Stream his new single. Love It For Yourself. Him. Glasses Malone. C. Rich. The Bachelor album coming soon. Me and Dante will be dropping Cinema with the Guys. Well, it's actually available right now. By the time you listen to this, we'll be breaking down episodes 5 and 6 of Succession. We're getting about to record that as we get done. I got a lot of comments about dumbass Shiv that I want to get into on this episode, man. Summer Sessions will be back this week. And also, I'm not going to hold you. We'll be back this week. So get into all that. Follow us on Twitter at Barberchair Scott, at OctoberZonte, at Pavy World. Follow the Barberchair Network at BarberchairNet. Subscribe to Patreon, patreon.com/Barberchair Network. Visit the BCnet.com, man. We'll holler at y'all next week. We out.